Sorry about that, you guys. I was listening to something real quick. Hey, everybody, come on in, come on in, come on in. This is going to be the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap for the reunion part 2. So let me be honest and tell you something. The best part of this reunion was the beginning and the end. Everything in the middle is bleh, bleh. Because let me tell you why everything in the middle is blah to me. Because I realized we found out that we're not going to get any footage from the plane. Now, I already told y'all how I felt about this reunion and us not getting any footage from the plane. Luckily for y'all, the beginning and the end was so good that I'm not as pissed off as I thought I was going to be about not getting any footage from the plane. I still question the fact that we didn't get any footage from the plane. I still question that nobody picked up a phone. I don't believe it, and y'all ain't gonna convince me. Y'all are not gonna convince me that nobody in first class, between production and the ladies, nobody picked up a camera. Not one of them. I'm not gonna believe it. I'm not, especially, thank you, and team, especially with the history with the black eye. Production should have been double on top of, they're not going to accuse us a second time. Absolutely not. They ain't going to put this on us. Because what we can definitely tell is that something happened on the plane. Hell, even Meredith done admitted it. She just won't admit how bad it was. She doesn't want to admit that it was as bad as the ladies are saying it was. But they all agree that some shit happened on that plane. Now, is it as bad as they say it is? At this point, I don't even know anymore. I don't even know anymore. Because Brittany is melodramatic as hell. But what we also know is that Meredith is a liar. We're going to get to it. We're going to dig deeper into that. But let's start off at the beginning of this episode. Now, at the beginning of this episode, Angie K. The slow clap for Angie K. Because Angie, you probably broke the biggest story on Salt Lake City this season. The problem is y'all allowed Lisa Barlow to overtalk y'all out of it. That is the problem. The problem is you guys were so excited and so over it that y'all allowed Lisa Barlow to overtalk it and steal the thunder. So here's what I'm talking about. Angie has a prop. Now, some people like the prop, some people didn't like the prop. I think the prop took away from your big reveal, right? I think the prop, the whole scroll of it all, I just think I was here for a prop because I do feel like you needed to print that out and you needed to present it. But, the binder has been done. And remember, Monica tried to do the burn book. That was a flop. Like, it's going to be hard to follow up with the binder. Whether you like Monique or not, baby, that binder was bindering. And we know that we didn't even get everything that was in Monique's binder. She told us, baby, she had a tab for everybody on that stage, okay? Well, they only gave us Giselle's tab. But with that being said, I'm not sure how you can top the binder, but the scroll, you tried. But again, I think it took away from the thunder because you had to unroll it and then Andy had to ask what it was. And while y'all were going through all of that, that is when y'all allowed Lisa to overtalk y'all. Part of the reason is because Lisa already knew what y'all were going to say. So let's talk about what was said. Let's talk about the reveal. Let's talk about what came out. Y'all remember early on in the season when Heather kept trying to basically let everybody know that Lisa is a snake and Lisa has been going to the blogs and Lisa has been trolling them online and Lisa has been exposing them. Now, she tried to get Meredith on board. Meredith wasn't going for it, which does confirm the story that Meredith was trying to create this alliance against Lisa. But it all sort of blew up on the ship, right? Remember the night when they were basically trying to get Lisa to admit it. And Lisa was like, I didn't do it. I'm not doing it. It's not me. It's not me. And she cried and she threw a tantrum and she called John. And y'all remember that? And remember when Heather was following her? And I was like, Heather, you doing too much. Like, let that lady go. She's crying. She done ran off. Stop following her. And remember, I think I said, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, because I didn't go back to fact check myself. Hey, JB, what's up, boo? I didn't go back to fact check myself. So y'all can, I'm with you, Quake. I believe Mary as well. But we'll get to that. But you're right. I believe Mary. I didn't fact check myself. So for those of y'all who were here, Quake, I know you always here. I don't know where Chuck is. But I think I said, and again, I might not remember myself correctly, but I think that I said the way that Heather is talking is almost as if they have proof. It's almost as if they know and they're trying to give Lisa an opportunity to sort of admit it, because Heather was way too confident when she confronted Lisa. Way too cocky and way too confident. And I said, they're talking like they have proof. Well, it seems as though they did. Come to find out, there's a troll account by the name of Carmen something. Thank you, Gabby. I feel like I said something along those lines. There's a troll account by the name of I was going to say Gabby, Carmen something or other. And this troll account, and what Angie was saying, and what Angie said makes sense too. Angie said, look, I didn't have as many followers as I have, when I first started on the show, I didn't have as many followers. I didn't have as many people, subscribe to me. So it was easy for me to see who was liking a lot of my posts, who was always in my comments. Like, I knew who they were because they were always there, because I didn't have millions of subscribers back then. I don't know how many she has now, but she didn't have a lot back then. So she said there was this particular account, and in the beginning it was all, yay, Angie, you're great, Angie. But then she said, I noticed that once me and Lisa started having problems, then this particular troll sort of turned on me and then started trolling me. She said, so I started paying close attention. Now, in following this particular troll, I guess she had conversations with the other ladies. They found out that this particular troll has trolled them and done a lot of the same type of behaviors. And as a result, they conducted an experiment. And I found it interesting because I never thought about doing this before. You know how when you say you try to access your information, it'll ping, something along the lines of, it'll show the phone number when you put in, when you try to retrieve your information, it'll put the phone number in. So they tried to log into Instagram as this person and then tried to say, oh, we forgot our login information. And so they sent the ping to the phone number and the number will pop up. Again, I didn't know it. I didn't even think about doing any of this before. It was Lisa's phone number. So Lisa was like, oh gosh, I'm so glad you're bringing this up. I'm so glad because Lisa knew, because they had already confronted Lisa with this information. So Lisa was ready for it. Lisa knew what they were getting ready to say. So she pulls her phone out and she was like, that's not even my number. That's not Andy, that's not my number. Andy, that's not my number. So Andy reads the phone number and he says, is that your number? Yes, that's my number, but Andy, that's not even how you do it, Andy. They're stupid. They're idiots, Andy. That's not even how you do it. See, to me, case closed. The conversation should have ended then. Mic drop. Oh, damn. Did I forget this? I had to make my tea. Did I forget to stir my tea? Okay, it looks like I stirred it. To me, that is a mic drop. If you're telling me that they did the retrieve your information and this troll account, the phone number connected to this troll account is Lisa's fucking phone number, I don't understand how it goes any further. I don't understand how this conversation continues. So then Lisa says, well, but look, Andy, it's not connected to me. It's not connected to me. They were like, yeah, because you didn't change the number now because we confronted you. Like, we've already confronted you, so you had an opportunity to change the information. So no, it doesn't go to your phone number now. It probably goes to like a burner account or some shit now. I don't understand how the conversation goes any further. But the problem is, because y'all made the receipt so fucking complicated that y'all had to spell it out for Andy. See, the scroll made it complicated. Remember when Wendy did the blow up flow chart? She like went to Staples and got the text messages blown up. See, that was the prop you needed, Angie. Angie, you needed the blow up to show step by step what you did. And you should have said, Andy, let me explain what happened. And you should have pulled out your prop with the blow up so everybody could see it, me included. You know, I want to see it. And you should have went, this is who this is. This is what we did. This is a troll account that has trolled all of us. This is how we retrieved the information. It was connected to this phone number, which belongs to Lisa. That's it. That's all. And to me, that is the mic drop. And then that's nothing else to be said. The problem was y'all allowed Lisa to overtalk y'all and argue, because that's all Lisa does. Whenever y'all get into an argument, Lisa just keeps talking until y'all get tired of fucking arguing. Have y'all not noticed that? Have y'all not noticed that Lisa just keeps talking until y'all get tired of fucking arguing, and then she basically wins by default? So I feel like what Heather and them decided was, we're not going to stop. We're not going to let Lisa overtalk us. We're not going to let her get the upper hand. So we're just not going to stop. So what ended up happening was y'all wouldn't shut up. Lisa wouldn't shut up. Even after Andy told y'all to shut up, y'all wouldn't shut up. So Andy was like, fuck this. He throws up his cards and he walks off. That was the whole walk-off thing. So Andy, I apologize, because I said it looked like that the scene looked real contrived, but in the moment I could see, and let's be clear, that argument probably went on a lot longer than what we saw. That scene probably lasted a lot longer than what we saw. But my thing is, let's call a thing a thing. There's one on every franchise, if not 2, 3, 4, 5. We know for a fact that there are people on every franchise that find a way to get stuff out in the media, that find a way to get to spill tea, to tell storylines. We know it's been happening since the beginning of reality TV. So it's not that this is new information. It's not that it would be unreal. I think it was just the point of, we're exposing that Lisa Barlow did it, and she did it under this troll name. I don't think they're trying to get nobody fired. I don't think they wanted Andy to be like, oh my gosh, Lisa, you're suspended. Like, it's not the same as a Monica Garcia. And I know somebody's going to say, why isn't it the same as Monica Garcia? The only reason why I'm saying it's not the same as Monica Garcia is because Monica Garcia was trolling those women and then got on the damn show. Like, I think it was crazy that she had a whole troll account and then was able to get on the show based on her connections through Jen Shaw, who was trolling them under the, you see what I'm saying? Do I think that Monica deserved to lose her job just because of the trolling? I just wasn't crazy about Monica as a housewife. And I know some of y'all went up for Monica. I didn't care about her going. I just didn't. But I told y'all on Potomac, hell, I told y'all people used to slide me information on Potomac. Love and Marriage DC, people used to slide me information. So it's not unheard of. It's not crazy. Right. Renna allegedly did it on Beverly Hills. Lisa Vanderpump allegedly did it. And I'm saying allegedly because, look, I don't need no smoke from these people. Allegedly did it on Beverly Hills. Larsa Pippen has been accused of doing it down in Miami. Kenya was accused of doing it on Atlanta. Like, we know Teresa and Jennifer Aiden have been caught giving information to the block. So it's not that it's uncommon. It's just that I think they just wanted Lisa to be like, girl, we know you did it. Which is why they originally confronted her off camera. They didn't confront her on camera. They originally confronted her off camera. But I guess Angie, because of the way things ended, I guess Angie decided Right, little old me. So imagine the bloggers, right, Cindy. So imagine the bloggers, right, the big bloggers, exactly. Because if little old me was getting stuff in her inbox, I can only imagine, right? So with that being said, though, to me, that was a moment that I think got lost in the yelling. I really think that was a bigger moment. I really think that was a mic drop moment. Shouts out to Angie. I just think I'm not gonna say that the prop wasn't a cute prop. I just think that your receipt was sort of complicated. So we needed you to simplify the receipt. You know what I'm saying? Like explaining it was complicated. So we needed you to simplify the breakdown. And it got lost in the scroll and the text messages. Child, we don't need all that. Just tell us who Carmen Sandiego is and how she the one and how y'all connected her to Lisa. That's all we needed. And then to me, that's a mic drop. But y'all allowed Lisa to yell at y'all and overtalk y'all. But I still say, shouts out to you, Angie, for putting it out there. And Lisa couldn't do nothing but sit there and blink. After that, she couldn't sit there but blink because, baby, we're gonna get to Miss Lisa in a few minutes. So next we talk about Mary, and she talks about her son. Again, whenever Mary talks about her son, it's heartbreaking because I think Mary is real. I think she's being honest and authentic. I think she is being vulnerable and bold when she shares with us what she's been going through with her son. I respect it. I hate it for her, but I respect that she's telling us and she's sharing her story with us. He's in jail, we know. She said that he's been, arrested multiple times for trespassing to go see his soon-to-be ex-wife. She's filed for divorce. And that she said she has not visited him in jail because she just can't see, it would hurt her too much to see him behind glass like that. She said, but she talks to him every day. She also said that she said she's actually glad that he's in jail because at least he's not using, although I hate to be the one to tell you, Mary, baby, they can get drugs in jail too, but I understand the point she was making. She said the last time that he got arrested, she said he got tased and everything. And I as a mother, much less a Black mother, how dangerous it is every time your Black child interacts with the police department. And I'm certain in Salt Lake City, I'm certain in the types of neighborhoods where he lives, where his girlfriend lives, I'm certain that it makes it even worse. And so I can only imagine the anxiety and the fear and the terror that Mary was living with her son out on the streets, getting high and going into places like that. You said people can get drugs in jail. You said it with a question mark. Are you being funny, right? I hope you're being funny. So with that being said, I felt for her. Now they did ask about Robert Sr. They asked, has he been to visit his son? And she said no. She said he talks to him, but he has not been to jail to visit him. And again, listen, I am not going to judge a parent for how they deal with their children who get strung out on drugs, and two, who find themselves in jail. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. We've only seen a fraction of what Mary and her husband have probably gone through with their son, as far as his addiction, as far as his interaction with the police. We've probably only seen a fraction of it. What we know is that Mary has the money to get great lawyers. So there's probably been instances where someone with a public, and there's no offense to public defenders, they're just overworked and underpaid, right? We also can acknowledge, we know that the son went to go live with Robert Sr. in Vegas to try and help him get clean. So we don't know what happened when the son was in Vegas living with his father. We don't know the ins and the outs. Again, we only get a fraction of it. So I'm not going to judge him for not going to visit his son. We don't know the whole story there. The fact that he talks to him, the fact that he's going to send him books and that he's supportive, I can respect it. Again, I told you guys I've dealt with it in my family. So I've had family members who've gone through that where, I've had aunts and uncles who've had to cut off their kids because they won't hit rock bottom as long as they have a safety net. And that's what Mary said. Mary said, look, all I can do is pray. I know that he knows right from wrong. I know that, she said, but I also understand that sometimes, she said he's making decisions and he's going to have to live with the consequences of the decisions that he's making. And, God, she said, sometimes God has you go through things so you can learn from learn the lesson. She's like, I may not like how he's learning his lesson, but it's a lesson he may have to learn. And so I can respect, I'm not going to judge, and I'm going to respect because I know it's deeper than the few scenes that we've seen of them together. We know he's been in rehab at least once. At least once he's been in rehab and he's relapsed. We know that he's lived with his father at least once to help him. So we know that they have actively done things to help him get clean. And all we can do for those of you that choose to, all you can do is pray and hope that he gets on the other side of it, because you could just see the heartbreak in Mary. You could see the heartbreak. My aunt cut off communication with my cousin when he went to jail for the third. Right. Sometimes that's just what has to happen. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Miss P said, no, I'm not. I didn't know jails are secure. I was part of a prison writing ministry, and anything that went into prison was thoroughly checked. Yeah, but drugs definitely get into drugs get into prison, phones get into, maybe they can, whatever they can smuggle. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's the people that work in the jail that's bringing stuff in. It's not people like you who are just trying to, be a pen pal and help and be a positive light for the inmates. A lot of times it's the people that work at the jails that's bringing that stuff in. Matter of fact, there was a woman that I just read an article on like the Neighborhood Talk or something where a nurse down in, I think, Georgia just got busted trying to sneak drugs and food, some food into the jail. And she done ruined her whole career. She a registered nurse, just got hit with some felonies for trying to sneak drugs into jail to her boyfriend. I saw that Quake where they're using the drones. Yes, having them drop it on the yard. I saw that too. Baby, yes, there's a whole TikTok. Listen, there's a whole prison TikTok. I fell into it one night. I said, what the hell is this? Hold on, y'all. I said, what in the hell is this? Child, let me change my picture back. We're not in the ghetto no more, child. Let me change my picture back, child. All right, here we go. Yeah, so I'm sorry, Miss P. My apologies. I guess because I just know, I thought people do. My bad. I apologize. I didn't mean to. I shouldn't have. I guess I'm just shocked. I thought people knew that, child, they get everything in jail, child. They get drugs, when I worked at the juvenile detention center, we had to take the hand sanitizer out of we called them units. We had to take the hand sanitizer out of the units because we got a inmate 17 years old, but he was an alcoholic and he was going through withdrawals and he was literally drinking the hand sanitizer because it's got alcohol in it. And he was we had to take the hand sanitizer out of the units. And this was pre-COVID, but we had the hand sanitizer. Well, I say the DOJ, Department of Juvenile Services had and we had to take it out. We caught one inmate that had a cell phone shoved up his rectum, trying to sneak the phone in. Mind you, this is a teenager. These are kids. I've worked in the juvenile center, and he literally shoved the phone up his ass, trying to sneak it in. Sure did. Now, I don't want to know who found it and how they found it, because that was more of the story than I needed to know. But yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that was that for Mary. Now then we get into Lisa and Mary getting into it because they started talking to Mary about the cult and the documentary and everything, and she basically said, "Listen, it's sad." She said they've been calling it a documentary since my grandmother, and I believe that again. If you guys go back to my review of the documentary, I said, why didn't we start with the grandmother? Because it sounds like the grandmother, the things that they were accusing Mary of, sounds like the grandmother was doing. They were calling the grandmother, holding her in high reverence. And the same way they talked about Mary, they were talking about the grandmother. And I said the same thing. And I was like, that was where I felt like the people who were leading the charge on this documentary were so laser focused on Mary that I feel like they didn't start at the beginning. And in my opinion, the beginning was the grandmother. In my opinion. Now, again, do I believe some of the documentary that Mary, was wanted access, and she had been excommunicated from the church, and she saw this as her way back in? And yeah, I believe some of that story. I do. But I also feel like Mary said, and I believe Mary when she says, listen, they've been calling it a cult since my grandmother started the church. I believe that 100%. I believe if somebody else were to actually go and do our independent research and go to the old school way of doing research and go to the library, I bet you if I were to fly to Salt Lake City, go to the library in Salt Lake City, go down in the microfiche, pull articles from when her grandmother first started that church through the years of all the different businesses that she started and the different things that she did. And when the church started growing, I bet you I find articles where they're calling her a cult, her grandmother a cult leader. I bet you I put $20 on the table right now. Hell, I put $100 on the table. I bet you it's out there. I bet you it's out there. Okay, thank you for coming through, N-Team. Thank you, boo. Because the way they were describing the grandmother in the documentary, even the story that they told. See, I said this when I did my review, so I ain't going to spend too much time on it. But didn't I talk to y'all about cult leaders have this? They always start off with this extraordinary story of how they did things. And not all cult, I shouldn't say cult leaders. I'm going to say church leaders. Because not all churches are cult. So let me not say. But they all have this. And when they told the story of her walking from Indianapolis to Salt Lake City because God told her that's where she needed to start her ministry. I'm going to say this and then I'm going to move on. Because I didn't know Mary's grandmother, and I don't want to besmirch her name because I don't know that woman, and I mean no disrespect. But let me say this. And I mean this with all from just in my gut, I believe if I would take that same plane to Indianapolis and go to the library and go down in the basement and go through the microfiche, I bet you there's another reason why she left Indianapolis. How much y'all want to bet? And I would tell you the truth. If I cared enough, I'd go find out. I used to love doing research like that, baby. I used to love getting curious about something. I would spend hours doing research in the library. Like I have literally been in the library to the point where the only reason why I left is because I was hungry because I didn't have any. Because you ain't supposed to have food in the library, so I would take like granola bars or something like that. But I literally have been in the library to the point where the only reason why I left is because I just was so hungry. But I would get so enthralled and doing research and wanting to know everything about something. I have done that. I did it when I was in college. I did it here in DC. It was nothing for me to be in the library for hours. And I could tell my parents, I'm going to the library to do some research, and they knew I wasn't lying because they knew who. And again, that was before the internet and all of that, so you had to go through articles and all. Yes, they let you bring food now. See, I ain't been in a long time, and I'm not even saying that there's a nefarious reason why she left. What I am saying is, I bet you, and I could be wrong, but I believe there's a reason why she left. And I ain't saying God didn't send her to Salt Lake City. I'm just saying I feel like it's another reason. Personally. But anyway, moving right along. So while we're getting into that argument, and Mary brought up a good point about when Lisa and Meredith got to when they got to fussing, and they were talking about Lisa and Meredith making up, and Andy was like, well, it is a big deal that you forgave Lisa. I mean, like, it is a big deal. Baby, Mary said, well, I forgave y'all. Y'all called my church a whole cult. I forgave y'all. Like, what you mean? I thought that was interesting when they showed the behind the scenes when they went to break, and they showed how Lisa and Meredith were like, well, we got to stick together. We've got to have each other's back because it's like they're coming for us. I said, yeah, they're coming for y'all. Mary absolutely said what we were all thinking. Listen, Mary was my MVP when it comes to episode 2. Baby, Mary was my MVP. Mary, because first of all, when Andy walked off, Mary got their asses together. Mary was like, Andy, come back, please. And when Heather started laughing, Mary was like, it's not funny. That's not funny. Baby, and Heather, well, I mean, I wasn't laughing. Yes, you were. You thought the shit was funny. It wasn't funny. Like Meredith said, baby, we are here to do a job. That is our boss. What the fuck is wrong with you? This shit ain't funny that y'all can't stop talking. Y'all don't have enough self-control that this man can't even get his job done. Not funny. But yes, Mary absolutely said what we were all thinking, baby. Mary said, I think it's weird. I think it's weird. She said, you said she was a slut and was sleeping with all of New York. I think it's weird that y'all made up. Baby, I was here for Mary this episode. I was. Well, like they said in the play at the end of the season, Heather hides behind her laughter. It's like when she's awkward. You know, she's got that awkward laugh. It's kind of like, if y'all saw that TikTok of me from yesterday where I was just irritated and I was over it, that's what that student that I was talking to, that's what she does. She just laughs all the time. Everything is funny. And it's irritating because it's like, I can't, because I have a class where it's only like 4 students. She's in that class with only like 4 students. So it's even worse when you only have 4 kids in the classroom and it's like everything is just giggle, giggle, giggle. It is irritating. So anyway, all right. So next, let me go through my notes. Okay. Documentary Lisa Meredith Alliance. I wrote in my notes, Mary ate Lisa up. Baby, when Mary lit into Lisa's ass, baby, Mary ate Lisa up. Do you hear me? She ate Lisa up. Do you hear me? Now let's get to the end. Let me see what else is in my notes. Oh, I wrote here no footage about this damn plane. Again, it pissed me off that there's no footage about the plane. But what I'm convinced of is that there is footage. They're just not going to show us. I believe there's footage. I do not listen. Andy Cohen could call me right now on my phone and say, ReallyBTV, there is no footage. I promise you there is no footage of what happened on the plane. And I wouldn't believe him. There is nothing that anybody can say to me to convince me that there is no footage of what happened on the plane. None. There's nothing that anybody can say to convince me there's no footage. Nothing. 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 Nada. Zip. Zilch. And let me tell you another reason why I'm convinced that there's footage. Because Andy made a point to ask, why wasn't there any footage? Andy made a point to have a whole conversation about why there wasn't any footage. Now, I know some people might say, well, he was reading questions from viewers and people have been asking, so he was just trying to be preemptive and explain why there was no footage. To me, them trying to explain why there was no footage convinced me even more why there should have been footage. For example, when they showed that clip of Heather making a video of Lisa looking for her ring and spazzing out about her ring, when they talked about how there was production on the plane and not even production took out a camera, absolutely not. You are, even Brittany said, now Brittany's the only one that I kind of believe, because Brittany, you did get in trouble for recording before. So Brittany, the only one I kind of believe. Mary and Brittany are the two people I believe that may not have taken out their phone. But I absolutely do not believe that Whitney, Heather, well, Browin wasn't there, and people on the plane. I absolutely do not believe that nobody else took out. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I believe that there's footage. I believe we'll never see the footage. Exactly, baby girl. The same way that there's no footage of Kathy Hilton crashing out on Lisa Rinna. And I believe that I absolutely believe that there's footage of that. Yeah, I agree. Agree, baby girl. I absolutely believe that there's footage of Kathy Hilton, but we'll never see it. We will never see it. And Lisa Rinna, I truly believe on everything that is holy. I truly believe if Lisa Rinna had shut the fuck up about Kathy Hilton crashing out, Lisa Rinna would still have her job. Lisa Rinna didn't get fired for doing nothing else except for going against production. Not going against Kathy Hilton, but going against production. Once production decided that they weren't going to show that footage, now it might have been coming from Kathy Hilton, but once production made a decision, we ain't talking about it, and Lisa Rinna continued to talk about it, the only reason why Lisa Rinna ass is fired is because she wouldn't go along with the get along. That's my opinion. Now, some people might say, well, Erica backed up Lisa Rinna. Erica did back up Lisa Rinna, but Erica didn't start it, and Erica didn't keep it going. Erica just said, yeah, I did see this happen. And yes, Kathy Hilton did make some racial comments down to the DJ booth. Yeah. But also remember, Erica was in the middle of the best storyline that Erica has ever had when all that happened. That's when she was going through the lawsuits and the divorce and all that shit. That's the best storyline Erica Jane ever fucking had. Oh no, Bravo wasn't going to get rid of her in the middle of that storyline. Absolutely not. But I bet you they pulled her aside because you notice Erica ain't said shit else about it, has she? Now, she throws digs at Kathy Hilton every chance she gets. Now, she does throw some digs at Kathy Hilton. But Erica ass got in line. So, we're never going to hear about this plane footage unless somebody goes rogue. Unless somebody on production goes rogue or one of the housewives writes a book 10 years from now and tells it. Mia said they are all protecting Meredith, the liar. I agree because Heather said it. Heather said, we are all protecting you. Heather said it. Heather said, we are protecting you. I agree. They are protecting Meredith. All of them, production included. They are all protecting Meredith. I agree 100%. Why they're protecting Meredith, I don't know. Actually, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And it's connected to how this episode ended. Now, I'm about to go somewhere that y'all might not like. Y'all might not like this kind of teaching. So I'm telling you now, I'm giving you a fair warning. Buckle up, Buttercup. Y'all might not like this kind of teaching, but I'm going to tell you exactly where we about to go. Bravo has a way of making footage disappear. They did it on Vanderpump Rules. One of the girls crashed out in Mexico. Oh, see, I don't watch Vanderpump Rules, but I believe you. I believe you. I wouldn't protect Meredith. I put it all out there because she acted like a true Karen this episode at this reunion. We're about to get to that, Paul. I'm about to give y'all my 2 cents. Now, y'all don't have to agree with it. I'm about to give y'all my 2 cents. Hopefully, we'll leave the plane and blog troll accounts at this reunion and have some fresh new stories from here on out. I definitely hope we don't bring the plane into next season because hell, if we ain't gonna get the footage, shut the fuck up. I thought what Meredith did at the end was vile. We about to get there. So we're at the end of my notes. I'm gonna pick up where cheap 883 times 21 just said. Meredith what Meredith did, I'm going to steal your exact language. What Meredith did at the end of this episode was vile. Meredith's back was against the wall. She knew she was losing the losing the argument. And she came out swinging. And when they asked Meredith a point blank question about the plane. When Heather asked her point blank about whether she was lying or not, it's a yes or no answer, Meredith. It's a yes or no question. And instead of her answering the question, she said, when she was talking about Brittany, it wasn't Heather, I'm sorry, it was Brittany. And instead of her just saying, yes, I was mean to Brittany or whatever the situation was, she said, well, can we go back to the beginning of why I have a problem with Brittany? Jen Shah's not coming back. Andy says she's never coming back. Andy says she's not coming back. So now we're like, well, where does this start? Meredith goes back to, first of all, she calls Brittany and her boyfriend anti-Semites. And she proceeds to tell a story about a nail technician who made some comments about the Jewish community, some anti-Semitic comments about the Jewish community, and he got called on it, and it was in the media, and it was public. And the nail tech reached out to Brittany and her boyfriend to write a good review for them because I'm sure he was losing his business. I'm sure he was getting canceled. Brittany did. She wrote the review. Her boyfriend wrote the review. She said, but once she was told what he had done, she reached out to him and said, wait a minute. You said X, Y, and Z? No. Take that review down. I don't want any parts of this. Take it down. So from that action, Meredith has deduced that Brittany and her boyfriend are anti-Semitic. Now, let me tell you something. Do I think that Brittany is a drama queen? Absolutely. Am I a fan of Brittany? Am not. Do I think that the whole I held you and I coddled you and that was extra? All that was unnecessary. But let me say this. I think it is reckless to label somebody. That's like labeling somebody racist. That's why if y'all have been around me, I am very slow to call somebody racist because I think that is a label that is a serious label and it's a hard label to come up from under. But one thing we know for sure in this country, well, really around the world, you can get over being labeled a racist faster than you can get over being labeled anti-Semitic. You being labeled anti-Semitic will have you blacklisted on a list you didn't even know existed. And I think it was reckless for Meredith to call this woman anti-Semitic just because She wrote a review for somebody who made anti-Semitic comments. And when she found out, according to her, she had him take them down. Now, Meredith's thing was, well, it was all over the news. How could you not know? I mean, I ain't hear about it. Listen, I'm not saying that they're different. I'm talking about society. I'm not saying that being racist is different from being anti-Semitic. What I'm saying is, in this country, especially in this country, being labeled anti-Semitic is worse as far as the response that you'll get than being labeled a racist. I'm talking about punishment-wise. I'm not talking about me. I'm not talking about me. Now, this is what I'm going to say. When Andy asked Meredith point blank, has she ever said anything anti-Semitic to you? She said no. Have you ever heard her say anti-Semitic things? No. Do you feel like she's anti-Semitic? She said yes. Andy said, based on what? Well, that's just, I feel that way. That's how I feel. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. And let's be clear, Meredith, you use that same nail tech. Like, you use the same nail tech. You knew this person just like Brittany knew this person. I personally, and I understand people aren't going to agree with me, I personally don't think that what Meredith said raises to the level of somebody being anti-Semitic. I'm sorry, I just don't. And I know people might disagree with me, and that's fine. I think it was dangerous, and I definitely understand Brittany's response. Do I think Brittany is extra? Yes. And y'all know I ain't even no Brittany fan, but y'all know I call things. I label things individually. And I feel like Meredith weaponized her religion. Yep, cheap 83 million, you on the same page. I feel like she weaponized her religion. Andy is Jewish, so she used that to her advantage as well to try and justify her behavior and her treatment of Brittany. Because let me tell you something else. And maybe Meredith said something and production didn't back her up. So let me be very clear. Maybe Meredith said something and production did not back her up. But what I find interesting is that you filmed this whole season and you never hinted at any of this. Because your being angry with her on the plane was about that fucking TikTok and her accusing your husband of cheating. You never once insinuated that your issue with Brittany has nothing to do with that. You never once, the whole season that we saw, to be fair, you never once this whole season insinuated that your issue with Brittany is deeper than her gossiping about your marriage. At no point in time. At no point in time. And even the women talking about what happened on the plane, nobody ever insinuated that you said anything other than show me the TikTok. Where's the fucking TikTok? They quoted you. Where's the fucking TikTok? At no point in time did anybody say anything about you mentioning anything else. At no point this season, it wasn't any whispers about it. It wasn't in the blogs. Excuse me, y'all. That's what I'm saying. It could have been edited out. That's why I said that we saw. Hold on, y'all. That's why I said that we saw, because you're right. It could be edited out. But the same way Lisa Barlow can get shit out there that she want out there is the same way Meredith could get it out there. And the way that Meredith and Lisa Barlow are best friends, you mean to tell me that if they truly felt like Brittany was anti-Semitic, you don't think that would have leaked to the blogs all season long, especially when Meredith was getting heat, when they was coming down on Meredith, when this whole shit from the plane came up, you mean to tell me nobody would have said nothing? Bullshit. And I call bullshit. I call bullshit. I'm sorry. Now, did Brittany do what they said? She said it. She admitted it. I did do the review. But when I found out what he said, I told him to take it down. So yeah, she did it. She did the review. And then she had them take the review down. She never answered the question about her drinking before she got on the plane. She did a hard pivot. When they asked her about drinking when she got on the plane, what did she say? Well, before I answer that question, because she knew they weren't going to get to the question. Do I think Brittany is a lot of things? Yes. I do not believe that Brittany is anti-Semitic. And I do not believe that she has done or said anything to Meredith or around production or around any of those other ladies to make them think that Brittany is anti-Semitic. I don't believe it. Now, other people might believe it, and that's fine. But I don't believe it because I've been doing this shit too long. It's something that serious, ain't no way in hell. Let's go back to the Real Housewives of New York. I don't even fucking watch the Real Housewives of New York. I'm talking about before the reboot. When, what's the lady, the lawyer, the black lady that they finally brought on New York? She integrated the cast. What's her name? Somebody know her name. Somebody knows her name. I can't think of her name right now, but y'all know who. Ebony. Thank you, Ebony. Y'all remember when Ebony was on that show? She was on there for one season. Every single microaggression that was done to that woman was in the blogs. I didn't watch not one episode of that season, and I could tell you half of what they said that they did to that woman. We heard about no matter how bad they edited. Do y'all know how much they edited out? Allegedly. And we got all of it in the blogs. You mean to tell me we wouldn't have got some anti-Semitism from are you crazy? You don't think we wouldn't have got some anti-Semitism? We'll see what happens in part 3. We'll see what happens in part 3. Right. Brittany did the review of the nail job, not the anti-Semitic. Right. Hold on. I want to read what. Hold on. Let me scroll up for a second. And then we're going to, because that was the end of the episode. They said Meredith harassed Britt for 4 hours. Then last night they said Meredith acted up when the plane was in full descent. I don't believe any of them. SCK says, who doesn't do research before doing an endorsement? I wouldn't do research if all she did was write a review on her experience with the nail tech. I've done reviews on TikTok and on people's website before. I didn't do a full out background check. If somebody did my nails and they did a good job and they said, hey, can you post it on your Instagram and say that you and tag me in it? I do that shit all. I've done that shit before. I've done it. I haven't Googled a full background check on somebody just because I'm going to say they did a good job on my eyebrows or they gave me a good nail job. Like Brittany says she didn't know about it. And when she found out about it, she asked him to take it down. I think that's a reasonable explanation. I don't think that's an unreasonable explanation to say, look, I didn't know he had said that shit. He asked me to do a review. I did the review. When I found out what he said, I told him to take it down. As far as I was concerned, it was over with. When you brought it to me, I apologized. We had a moment. I thought we were good, which I believe. Now, do I believe all that shit that Brittany said? I took her in my bosom. And now I think Brittany was being real extra, but I do believe that Brittany apologized to Meredith. I believe that. And I believe that that Brittany thought, okay, I said it and we're good. She said the tech wanted her to do it because he was getting bad reviews. That's a red flag for me. I mean, different strokes for different folks. Again, different strokes for different folks. You getting a bad review, I would not jump to you getting a bad review means that you're anti-Semitic. But again, different strokes for different folks. Right. And Brittany also said, look, he did my nails for free. I thought it was the least I could do. Again, I don't think you can get bad reviews for a lot of stuff. When you're in the service industry, all it takes is one bad customer to lie on you and I'm not saying they're lying about this person saying anti-Semitic stuff. That's not what I'm saying. So please don't nobody twist my words. What I'm saying is all it takes is for one person, especially in the day of social media, all it takes is for one person to make a comment saying they had a bad experience, and that could be your business. So I'm just saying, for me, and I understand that ain't the same as everybody, but for me, if somebody said, hey, look, somebody came through here last week, they didn't like, what I did for them. They posted on their Instagram. They got 10,000 followers. People are canceling. People are leaving messages. Can you just write a good review for me? You did my nails for free. You did a good job. Sure. And I understand that for some people, they're like, no, that's a red flag. I hear what y'all are saying. I'm just saying, I think it's reasonable. I don't think it's unreasonable to believe that Brittany said, sure. That's all I'm saying. I hear what y'all are saying, but I don't think that it's unreasonable for that to have happened the way Brittany said it happened. But what I don't want to get caught up in the minutia. What I do want to say, in my opinion, though, is I think that what Meredith did was vile, because let's assume it's all true. Let's assume that it's all true, which I don't believe it is. Rather than deal with the issue that we did see on camera, you chose to bring up an issue that we never saw on camera as a way to deflect from what we did see on camera. Because at the end of the day, what we did see is what we saw for the season. Thank you, Busy. Busy, this is my boo. I agree with you, Busy, 100%. 100%. I think that what Meredith did was vile, and I think it was dangerous. And I think that Meredith turned on her white woman tears, and she flashed her religion as a weapon. And as a Black woman, that's dangerous. It's dangerous. Because we all know what a white woman's tears can do. And I just think that what Meredith did was classic Karen. And I don't understand why everybody don't see that. But I mean, that's okay too. I just think that I'm just reading the comments. Y'all the ones that are telling me the bad reviews. I'm just reading y'all comments. All I heard Brittany say was that the guy asked her to write a review. She said, sure, he did my nails for free. I thought it was the least I could do to write him a review. That's what I heard Brittany say. Y'all are the ones in the chat saying, well, he had bad reviews. Listen, I'm not getting caught up in the minutia. What I said is what I said. Y'all ain't got to agree with it. But I felt Brittany when she was crying. I don't think that was fake. When Brittany ran off stage, I don't think that was fake. This woman on national television is calling this woman an anti-Semite. Do you understand how serious and how dangerous that is? If this woman gets labeled as somebody who has a problem with Jewish people, as somebody who's anti-Semite, do y'all understand how serious of a label that is? And Meredith yielded it like a sword. And she held on to it to use it at the most, when her back was against the wall. When her back was against the wall. I'm sorry. Y'all, and again, Brittany ain't even y'all know I don't even like Brittany, but I felt her in that moment. I felt Brittany in that moment. Right, especially in entertainment business. Brittany is a whole actress. Now, let's be clear. We're not talking about Oscar award winning, but Brittany has done acting. Do you understand how dangerous that is for her to be labeled? What if Andy believes it? Hello? Andy is a Jewish man. Hello? What if Andy believes that Brittany is anti-Semitic? Hello? Her job is gone. Meredith, you've labeled this woman on national television. Hello? That's dangerous. I'm sorry. And the way that it happened, when they were coming at Meredith and they had Meredith's back against the wall, the way that she did it, I ain't like it. I ain't like it. And y'all know I hate it when they make me defend people that I don't fuck with, because I don't fuck with Brittany. Mary called Whitney a racist without anything to support the claim, but no one said anything. I believe we did say something, Lexi. I believe we said something. I know I did. I was no Mary fan her first couple of seasons. I was no Mary fan. And I believe I said something. Matter of fact, I know I said something. I said something about Jen Shaw remember when Mary said something about the 7-Eleven and when her and Jen Shaw got into it? I said something. She said what last night about Whitney? Mary said that Whitney was racist last night. I missed that. When did she say that? That happened on last night's episode? Mary called Whitney racist? I missed that. When she say that? I know she has said it in the past, but I don't remember her saying it last night. I don't even remember her and Whitney having a conversation last night. Did I miss that? I'm about to say I don't remember that being last night. I remember that being a couple of seasons ago. I don't remember her calling Whitney racist. I don't even remember her and Whitney having a conversation. Okay, SCK said yes. When she was fussing with Lisa, she turned and said Whitney was racist. Hold on. I gotta go back. We're about to get off of here, but I don't remember that. Hold on, let me go back to that. I ain't getting off of here until I check that for myself because I don't remember none of that. Let me see that. Hold on, let's go back. Let me see. Hold on, let me see. Let me go back to when they were arguing. You talking about when Lisa and Meredith? When Lisa and Mary were arguing? Okay, hold on. Hold on. Give me a second. Let me get to that part. I want to hear that for myself because I didn't hear that last night. Now I know that in the past, Mary has made some comments about Whitney, but I don't remember that last night. So hold on, let me see. Okay, hold on. We almost at the part where Lisa and Mary are going at it, child. Hold on, we almost there. Okay. It's Mary. Okay. Mary. Okay. All right. Is this where her and Lisa get ready to argue? Let me see.
They've been saying that since my church opened. Yeah. They said it about my grandmother. They said it about...
Hold on, let me see.
Why has that stuck? Why has it been repeated?
Hold on, let me see. This is before they get to arguing. Hold on, let me see. Okay, hold on. All right, this them arguing. Hold on. Whitney didn't say nothing the whole time they were arguing. The only thing Whitney said was when they brought up the cult thing, and Whitney was like, and I apologize for that. That's it. Mary didn't even talk to Whitney. Now maybe it was on the Peacock version. I didn't watch the Peacock version, so maybe it was on the Peacock version. You talking about when she said because we're a black church? Okay, thank you, SEK. Put it in the chat because I didn't hear. And again, I ain't about to watch the whole episode over. So yeah, find the timestamp and I'll go back. Was it the Peacock version? Yeah, Whitney didn't say anything to Mary. So Mary said to Whitney, "You're a racist." When they were talking about her church. Oh, maybe it was the Peacock version. I'm looking at the regular version. So was it on the? If it was on the Peacock version, just give me the timestamp, please. I have Peacock. I'll go watch it. Just give me the timestamp. All right, y'all. Let me get ready to get out of here. I appreciate y'all. And I will talk to y'all later. Thank you. Peace. It was the regular version. All right. I didn't see it. I was skimming through it though, so I might have missed it. Just put the timestamp in for me. All right. Thank you. Talk to y'all later. Peace.